Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Wrap, brought to you by Michigan Medicine Headlines. I'm Dan Ellman with the Department of Communication.
And I'm Dan's sidekick for the day, Jeremy Fallis, also with the Department of Communication. Today's episode will be music to your ears as we discuss the Life Sciences Orchestra and its upcoming spring concert.
Now, before we begin that conversation, be sure you go back and get caught up on any episode of The Wrap you may have missed. You can find the shows on your favorite podcast hosting platform or on the Michigan Medicine YouTube channel.
And on that very pitch-perfect note, let's bring in Kara Gavin, another member of the Department of Communication. But for today, it's more important that we tell you that she is a member of the Life Sciences Orchestra. Kara, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor to be on this show.
All right, Kara, let's cover the basics first. What is the Life Sciences Orchestra and who plays in it?
Great. So they're behind me. Not really. This is a picture, but the Life Sciences Orchestra is an amateur orchestra open to people from across the health and medical and science areas of the university. So not just Michigan Medicine, but all the health sciences schools, biomedical engineering, and various other areas, all three campuses. And this is an orchestra that is made up of faculty, staff, students, alumni, retirees, and it's conducted by students from our School of Music here at U of M.
So I know that the orchestra is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. How did it get its start and how has it been impactful in the community?
So the orchestra started in the year 2000, and it actually came about because of Gifts of Art, which is one of the nation's oldest arts and healthcare organization, headed by Elaine Sims. And a couple of residents and MD PhD students came to her and said, hey, we've been playing in chamber ensembles, or we played at our former universities in orchestras for medical people. Can we start one here at U of M? And so that was the start of the orchestra. And we held our first auditions that fall and played our first concert in January of 2001.
I love that. It was sort of just from the inside out, right? Created
Yes.
The people who wanted to do it. So now that we know the orchestra's history, let's learn about your history. What instrument do you play? How long have you played that instrument? And when did you join the Life Sciences Orchestra?
Yeah, so I've been with it from the start, and I've been on the orchestra's committee from the start as well. I've played almost every season. I play French horn, not very well, but well enough to make it into the orchestra. And I've played since fifth grade. Actually, I think it was fourth grade. And so quite a while. I'm still learning things about how to play in an orchestra. And it's just been an amazing experience to be part of this and meet so many different people from all over the life sciences and science areas of U of M.
So explain to us a little bit, how often does the orchestra get together? How often do you rehearse? How many concerts are there every year?
Great. Yeah. So we have auditions every September. And yes, everybody has to audition every year. And we have rehearsals every Sunday. And then we play 2 concerts a year. So we usually have 12 to 13 rehearsals for each concert. Sunday nights over at the School of Music on North Campus. And we play the concerts for free. Hopefully, usually at Hill Auditorium. We have been very fortunate to play there pretty much every concert. And then we take our summers off.
So, I love that you've been in this from the start, because you have a lot of experience to drop in with this next question. So why do you think an orchestra like this is so important? And, for its members, for the community, et cetera. And then outside of that, is there sort of a unique connection between the arts and, people in science and medicine and healthcare?
Yeah, the LSO is actually one of probably a couple dozen by now orchestras like it around the country. Some are just for people in medicine. Some are more broad as far as different professions or even further into the sciences. We're pretty inclusive as far as who we take, but all these orchestras are linked by something, which is that people who played music as kids or through college, maybe they were thinking about a musical career, but then chose a medical or scientific career. Maybe it was never in the cards for them to be a professional musician, but they just love playing. That's what links these orchestras together. And there are community orchestras and bands all over this country that also are for amateurs who just love playing and love getting together and playing as an adult. And this is something that I think has been, shown to really be great for stopping loneliness and increasing community engagement. For our orchestra and the ones like it, I think it has an added meaning, which is that medicine and science and clinical careers and research careers and studying to be a researcher or a clinician can be incredibly stressful. And whatever your role is at U of M, these have been additionally stressful times recently. And so having a time once a week, at least, where you get together with other people and you're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about your exam the next day, you're thinking about how do I play and become part of this broader group where we're all making music together and we're forgetting about rank. We're forgetting who's a full professor, who's a grad student, who's the secretary. And we're just saying we are going to have music together and make it beautiful and then present it to the community. And so having that time where we can do that is incredible. And there's actually research showing that people who choose scientific and medical careers, technical careers, that a lot of them do play music or wish they were still playing music or singing. And that there's a lot of interplay between how our brain's creativity comes out through arts and how our brain's creativity comes out through science and medicine and discovery. So I don't want to overstate that. I haven't read the literature, but in general, there's a lot of people in science and medicine who play music or sing and who, if they have let that lapse in their lives, that's never too late to get back to it.
Yeah. And, I'm glad that you mentioned that because anecdotally, I know that it may be not based on the research or whatever. My wife, who's a professional musician as well, she went to school for music in college, and so many people that she went to school with have now transitioned into a medical career or a science career. And it's something about the way your brain works, right? Where if you're good at music, you tend to be good at this as well. And so it's a great way to sort of keep them involved.
Yeah. But I think also science and medicine, people go in their silos, right? You are in this area of the hospital. You're in this area of the research lab. You're in this type of engineering. And so actually having an orchestra that's open to people from all different disciplines, even within science and medicine, helps create connections that might not otherwise have happened. And just in the French horn section, we've got me, a science writer, a veterinarian who got her bachelor's in biology at U of M, a grad student in bioinformatics, a grad student in cell biology, and a health economist, right? I mean, right there in the French horn section, that's U of M in a nutshell.
And how many times would you 5 all get together in one moment anyway, right?
Exactly. It's really pretty special.
So can you tell us a little bit about the upcoming concert? Where is it at? What piece are you playing, and how can people attend?
Great. So the LSO, our finale to our 25th anniversary season, is on Thursday night, April 3rd at 7:30 p.m. at Hale Auditorium, which is, if you haven't been there, that's what the hall looks like. It is one of the acoustically most perfect halls in America. It is incredible to be on that stage, but it's also incredible to be in the audience. If you haven't been to a show at Hale, this one is free. It's open to the public, and we're playing some really interesting music. And the conductor, Nicholas Bromelo, is going to give a pre-concert lecture at 6:45 in the lower level of the building, so you can learn more about the pieces that you're then going to hear at 7:30. So we're playing in order the Academic Festival Overture by Johannes Brahms, which is a nice sort of rollicking thing. It's actually based on German drinking songs, but he actually wrote it when he was being given an honorary degree at a university. And he said, let me have some fun here. And he pulled in the German drinking songs. Second piece is really interesting. It was written only 4 years ago by Jessie Montgomery, a young female composer who wrote it. It's called Hymn for Everyone. And it's very lush and moving, but also pays tribute to sort of the times that we're living in, and how everyone should be sung as a having a role in society. So it's a really cool piece. And then we come back after intermission with Rimsky-Korsakov's Scheherazade. And this is a what's considered a tone poem. There's sort of four movements, but it's, if everyone's heard of the 1001 Nights or the Arabian Nights legend, there was a woman who married a sultan, and he had this cruel promise that he was going to kill every wife, the day after their wedding, right? And she stayed alive by telling him stories that had cliffhangers every night. And he didn't want to kill her until he heard the stories ending. And she just kept going for 1001 nights. So Rimsky-Korsakov took this, made it into a tone poem about four of the different tales that she told. And the lead violin plays Scheherazade, the heroine of the story. And it's this really incredible piece. Three pieces, all of them very accessible. If you're not a classical music fan, don't worry. Please come.
I love it. That sounds like a great program. It's obviously a great orchestra and program for people to join as well. So thank you so much, Kara, for pulling back the curtain on the LSO and giving us a sneak peek of your upcoming concert. If you want to learn even more about that show and about the LSO, go to mmheadlines.org. That's mmheadlines.org.
Okay, Kara, it is time for what I know you are so excited for, the lightning round. This is when we ask our guest 4 quick fire questions. Are you ready to go?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
All right, Kara. Well, March Madness is going on right now. Baseball's opening day is this week. And I know that just in general, you are a huge sports fan. So what is your favorite sport to watch? I just want to hear you talk about this.
Actually, it's figure skating. So I have to say, I'm not like a mega fan, but I do follow it. And that has always been the one sport that I actually truly like to watch.
That was not on my bingo card for what you were going
Seriously?
to say. I love it. No, but that's great. I love it. So we'll go more into your wheelhouse on this one. In your daily work life, you write a lot about research and science. What is it about the subjects that you write about that makes you so interested in it?
Well, right now I'm writing a lot about health policy research. So we have a lot of people at our Institute for Healthcare Policy and Innovation, which is a broad university-wide institute, but it's based in Med. And it has a lot of people who study why healthcare is like it is, what laws have, changed it, what can we do in the law and in policy and in practice to make healthcare better or safer or more equitable. And so I love writing about that research because it has immediate applicability to how we deliver healthcare in this country, how we regulate it, the laws we pass. So research that can actually make a difference in the care that people get. It's really fulfilling to get to share those stories and to write those stories and translate them from academic ease to plain English.
Yeah, I think that's so important, right? You take what people are doing and writing about, but that the majority of the population probably wouldn't understand because their brains are way up here. I'm just going to be honest, right?
The statistical methods and all that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But you make it accessible, and I think that that's really fulfilling, and you do a great job of that. So, all right. Well, spring is officially here in Michigan. What is your favorite springtime activity?
Gardening. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get out in the garden. I have a lot of perennials in my garden, which are lower maintenance, I think, than annuals, where you have to go put them in every year. But perennials still take a lot of work, but I love this time of year because I'm starting to see each different species start to flower. And so the crocuses and the snowdrops and the hellebores have all come out now, but next will be the daffodils and the tulips and the forsythia. And so seeing the seasons progress through my garden and the blossoms is really wonderful.
Do you have a favorite flower? Or is that like asking what your favorite child is?
No, that's asking my favorite child. I think I what I love is trying to have something in blossom always from mid-March through early November. And I've pretty much achieved it.
That's incredible. Okay, finally this week in headlines, team members were asked to share their favorite travel destinations. What would be your favorite travel destination?
I was just thinking about this today. It's funny that you're asking me. I really enjoyed the trip that my husband and I took to India many years ago, and I'd love to go back. We went to, he had a couple of conferences. So we were able to go to Mumbai and to Agra and to Jaipur, and it was just so eye-opening, so amazing to see the history and the culture there that I had never experienced firsthand. And the food, of course.
Yeah. Sounds incredible. Well, thank you so much, Kara, for playing along, sharing your love of figure skating with us. And don't forget, if you want to learn more about the Life Sciences Orchestra and its upcoming concert, be sure to visit Headlines at mmheadlines.org. That's mmheadlines.org.
And while you're there, you can also take a look back at the recent match day festivities and learn about a new tool that will help you share your ideas on improving belonging across the organization. Find those stories and much more at mmheadlines.org.
All right, Jeremy. Now, as we mentioned to Kara earlier, the sports calendar is packed right now with March Madness, and you got baseball starting up, you got basketball and hockey winding down. What is sort of, is this your favorite time of year as a sports fan? And if not, what is?
I would probably say from the last week in February, which is when all the college basketball tournaments begin, all the way through about mid-June is my favorite time as a sports fan, because you have college basketball, then you do have the hockey playoffs that begin. College hockey tournament starts this weekend. You get opening day, you get the Masters, the PGA, you get, baseball is into full swing by then. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin. You really can't go wrong. There's always something on TV every single night until about like Father's Day, which is when the U.S. Open wraps up, and then it's baseball season, for the rest of the way in the summer. So it's my favorite time of year. How about you?
Yeah, I would have to go with this time of year too. There is that like one moment in the fall when all four major sports are happening at the same time, but it's like the beginning of the season for hockey and basketball. And like, it just doesn't really, and football is great, but it's usually only once or twice a year or a week. So it's not quite as exciting, but so I would definitely go for this time of year as well. Kara, what do you have to add to this conversation?
The World Figure Skating Championships, of course.
When is that? Now?
That's starting tomorrow.
See? Look at that.
Through the 30th.
Wow. See? And you just added to the calendar. I know. Who's the favorite?
Okay, I can't pick a favorite. Just watch.
All right.
Very diplomatic answer, and that's what
I'm trying.
We love our guests on here for those reasons. Yep. All right, so that's all we had for this.
And I stand saying Chalk and Bates because Evan Bates' dad is a faculty member at U of M.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. Bringing it all home. Full circle right there.
Full circle.
And that comes on the heels of those ice dancing siblings, right, from the Olympics from 4 years ago that won silver.
See, he knows something about skating. Look at that.
Well, and Charlie White's just right over by me in Canton.
Yep,
I know all this stuff. There's ice dancing all over the place.
There is no sport you don't know about. Curling.
We could keep going, but that's all we have for this week. Thank you, Kara, for joining us, and thanks as always to our listeners and our viewers for everything you do for our patients, families, and each other. We'll see you again next time.